Hi everyone, I have another Diwali card tutorial for you today, and just like my previous design, this one can be adapted to a wide range of holidays and occasions. The supplies I've used are listed in the video description and on my blog, where you can also find close-up images of today's cards. Let's start by picking out a pattern paper to use as a main panel for the card I have in mind. I'm using this one from an old Spellbinders card kit, but as always, I recommend you use what you have. Next, we're going to use a paper trimmer to cut this down to size. For my card, I want a piece that measures 4 3/4 inches by 3.5 inches. If you don't have a paper trimmer, you can use scissors or a ruler and craft knife to cut your panel to size. That's the background panel done. Now we'll start working on the other elements for the card. When you're working with pattern paper, you can pick colors from the design to easily find solids that work with it. Here I have a peachy pink scrap that matches a floral pattern, and I'll cut it with this 2-inch stitch circle die from Pink and Main, and this will become the base for my sentiment. And speaking of the sentiment, I'm using this Happy Diwali die from the Diwali celebration set by Dress My Craft, which I'll cut from matte gold paper and layer on top of the circle we just created. That's the sentiment panel all done, and we can set that aside. For the next element, I'm using another pattern paper from the same pad. This is actually a leftover scrap from my previous card tutorial, which will be linked in the description. Here I'm just double checking that the two patterns look nice together. This scrap was left over from die cutting a rectangular panel, and I'm just going to trim both sides down to create a frame. Here's how that looks. I'm going to set aside the longer piece that we cut off, and I'll show you how you can use it to step up this card later. Now, using a smaller circle from the stitch circle dies by Pink and Main, this one measures 1.5 inches. I die cut the remaining piece of pattern paper and set that aside before moving on to the final elements. I've created a side folding A2 card base by folding a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cream colored cardstock in half. Using a scrap of the same cardstock, I die cut this string of lights from the Diwali celebrations die set. The set also includes a tiny die for individual lights, but I really don't feel like fiddling with multiple tiny pieces and die cutting them all one by one. Here's a simpler way to create the layered effect. I'll die cut the same piece from matte gold paper and cut off each of the lights from it. Now, I first tried the cream colored string with gold lights, but like the result better when I flipped them around. So now I'm simply going to layer the resulting gold piece over this cream colored die cut to create the same effect. Doing it this way takes far less effort, and you can always color the bulbs with your favorite coloring medium if you want a string of multicolored lights. Here's how the finished piece looks, and you're going to need 2 of these for this card design. Okay, we're ready to assemble our card now. Start by laying down the background panel in the center of the card base and place the 2 circle pieces over it. Just play with the placement of these elements till you're happy with how they look. Then, arrange the 2 strings of lights along the top edge, overlapping them to look like they're hanging down in loops. Finally, place the pattern paper frame over the whole panel and adhere everything down. Here's the finished card. For bells and whistles, I've added a few sparkly cream-colored gems from my stash. This color seems to go with everything. Here's a variation on the same design. I've started with the same background panel and die-cut circles as the other card, but I used 2 skinny gold frames for this one. I finished up with a layered diya and sentiment from the Diwali Wishes die set by Dress My Craft. Now here's what you can do with the strips left over from trimming your panels. I like to add them inside the card to give it a more finished look and bring in some of the design from the front of the card. Just attach them near the bottom or side and trim off the excess. I used a scrap of the floral pattern paper for the first card and the piece of the purple pattern that we set aside earlier for the second one. So here are the 2 cards we made today, and up next there will be some close-up images of both of them. I hope you enjoyed this mini-series on making Diwali cards. Like the previous design I shared, you can easily recreate these for Christmas or the holidays by using different pattern papers, sentiments, and embellishments. I'm working on some projects for Halloween next, which is my favorite holiday. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when that video comes out. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like and a comment, as that'll really help this little channel grow. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and until next time, be kind and stay creative.